everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Next Gen Genealogy Network's Education Chat. My name is Shannon Combs-Bennett. I am the Education Co-Chair. Joining me today is Eric Wells, my other chair. Hi, Eric. How are you today?
Hi, Shannon. I'm doing good. I'm
Great.
recovering from being under the weather, but I'm doing really good, actually. Much better than I have.
Yeah, I came home from RootsTech and my kids and my husband got sick and then they decided to share. So I'm right there with you. But that's not what we're here to talk about today, right?
Right. No, we're not doctors or anything like that. We don't know anything about what we've got, but we do know a lot about genealogy.
Hi, Victoria.
Hi, Victoria.
That's Eric's wife, in case anybody needed to know. So today we're going to talk about RootsTech because it was just a few weeks ago, and a lot of us from Next Gen were out there, as well as nearly 20,000 other genealogists who attended the conference.
It was huge. There was a ton of people there, and not only the people who attended, but the people who streamed it live through their computer too.
Yeah, nearly 100,000 they estimate or more streamed the conference live, which a lot of the videos are still online, including the keynotes. So if you guys still haven't gone out to experience any of the RootsTech experience, go out and watch the videos. There's some really good ones out there. And some of the keynotes are very, very good too.
One of my favorite keynotes was the StoryCorps. It kind of jerk tears out from everybody sitting in the audience.
I think that's a requirement for keynotes is they have to make you cry at that conference.
Yeah, maybe. The StoryCorps is just a fascinating idea. I really, I had heard about it a while ago through one of the podcasts I listened to, but getting to actually experience what they produce is pretty incredible. The conversations that they can elicit between relatives or friends is tear-jerking.
And I think that's one of the things that genealogists are always taught, that we should interview our friends and family and ourselves and everybody for our research. But an interview doesn't have to be a formal interview. It could just be putting out a recorder and having a conversation. Because I think some of the best information and some of the greatest insights into a person can come just from listening to a conversation.
Exactly. And the whole theme of the RootsTech seemed to center around storytelling, and they really encouraged us to share the stories to make these people that we're researching come alive, and not to share the story in such a matter-of-fact or factual way, but actually bringing them alive by telling their real stories, the struggles that they went through, and the triumphs that they had, and pulling on their people's emotions to engage them in what we're doing.
Right. And that's a typical theme with this conference. You do get a lot of the basic methodology, and this year they had more advanced classes to offer too, not just the basics, which is nice. But they really like to focus on the storytelling aspect and the narrative of family history, which is just a different way to document.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked how they encouraged engaging the young people. I saw that as a current running theme throughout all of the keynotes, is engaging the youth to draw them into family history, and they recognize that it's a struggle.
Right. I did a sofa chat. So I was one of the ambassadors for. Sorry, you guys are gonna see me itch my nose a lot. I have an itchy nose.
Maybe I should talk
sick.
so like my face comes up while you're itching your nose.
No, it's okay. So as an ambassador, I was able to participate in a lot of the sofa chats, which is where they would bring in people from the keynotes into the media hub, and we could sign up to sit and chat with them on sofas. So if you were at RootsTech and you saw in the middle of the main conference center, there were all these chairs and tables and plugins and these white sofas everywhere. That's what they were for. And one of the ones I did was with Paula Williams Madsen. Did I say that right? Yes. She's the one who wrote the book. I was looking for my book and I already put it away. Searching for Samuel Lowe, which is an excellent book. If you haven't read it yet, you should definitely read it. But she was asked during one of the sofa chats by one of the other ambassadors what her grandkids think about this. Because her children went with her, you know, overseas, and she's taken her grandchildren to China. Her mother was half Chinese, half Jamaican, and her father was Jamaican. So she was trying to find her missing Chinese grandfather, which she did by the end of the book.
Oh, you ruined it.
Yeah,
why read the book now?
Oh, but you have to read the process. That's the best part of it, because it's about finding Samuel Lowe. Hello. But they asked her, you know, well, you know, are your grandkids interested in genealogy, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And she said, you know, they don't really know the difference. You know, family is family. They met with all sorts of different cousins, and in Jamaica and in China, and they all get together and they all play, even through language barriers. And we show them pictures and they learn, and yeah, they like it. They understand it. They think it's fun and interesting, but it's part of their life. And I think that's an important key, especially for people who are trying to connect to that age of younger genealogists and younger family members, is maybe, as the new CEO of Family Search said, we should try to reach their heart with stories instead of with facts.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should stop boring them to tears, essentially, right?
Yeah, exactly. I could see my whole family starting to fall asleep when I start telling them, oh yeah, your great-great-grandfather was born such and such a date, and he immigrated such and such a date, or and he died such and such a date, and married such and such a date. It's just as boring. But when you start talking about, like, yeah, he owned a grocery store, he went bankrupt, and yeah, he in a bunch of bananas he got from a shipment, there was a tarantula in it. You know, you start telling these stories,
right.
You kind of play at their heartstrings, and
right.
draw them in more.
And speaking of young genealogists, I have to say one of the reasons I like RootsTech is, and this year I noticed it more than I did last year. Last year was my first time there, so this is my second time attending RootsTech, was that this year there was an overwhelming presence of younger genealogists, 20s, 30s, college students. And now I expected it on Wednesday, which was the Innovator Summer Day, because that's the real techie day. And a lot of the innovators and a lot of the people involved in the tech stuff for genealogists are in their 20s and 30s, maybe even into their 40s. They are the younger generations of genealogists. But it was nice to see how many of them stayed through the conference. Now, a lot of them, I will admit, were running around in BYU sweatshirts, and they were probably family history majors. But it was still nice to see them.
You got an extra credit for being there.
Probably. But it was still nice to see younger faces, so that people in their 20s and 30s, sometimes when they attend more conventional, the more typical standard genealogy conferences, they definitely stand out more. And here it was just faces in the crowd. There were very, very young. I mean, I once again saw newborn babies, just like I did last year, all the way to the very, very elderly. And it was just a wonderful cross-section of people who loved family history.
Yeah, it was impressive, too, to see how many young people were in the ambassador program, too. They seem to have really... Family Search seemed to, or the whole RootsTech seemed to really do well with the whole ambassador section. It looked impressive, and it looked like it was just a hopping media frenzy with all these bloggers there and interviews that were going on, and quite a few of them were really young. And,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And I met several of them too.
Yeah, so the youngest there was 15, and she was the youth ambassador. Her name was Ruby Baird, and you can go out online to the RootsTech website and read a little bit about her and her biography. And I was able to speak with her at RootsTech, and the interview that I wrote up with her will be in the next issue, the March issue of the Next Gen newsletter. So everyone...
What? A teaser?
A teaser. So everyone make sure to read your newsletters next month. This was her
Is it a good article?
Of course it is. I wrote it. Sorry.
No,
It's the
I expect
comment.
nothing less from you.
That's right. This was actually her 4th conference, in the 4th year as ambassador, believe it or
Wow.
not. Yeah.
She was 11 when she started this?
Yeah. Pretty crazy, huh?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we also had a meetup too.
We did have a meetup, and I hear you have a
You
picture.
weren't able to go there.
No, I was at the ambassadors were all invited to a media dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at the media dinner.
It's all right.
Oh.
Well, we had a great time. There was over 20 people who showed up.
That's awesome.
We're at Olive Garden
There's your picture. Yay!
Right across the street from the conference center. And it was a really good time. We laughed, we joked around, we had great food and great fun. And it was really neat to get to know all of the other people that are a part of the Next Gen group on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, this being the biggest genealogy conference, we're going to get a lot of Next Geners there, but it just was really neat to get to know them. I got to make a lot of good friends in real life as opposed to just on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. That's why I like these meetups when I can get to them.
Yeah.
Is because you get to know people online, but I'm still one of these, I like to talk, not just type at people. And actually, know them and see them physically. It makes them feel like they're real, not just, some computer thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you went to some panels, I hear.
Yes, I did, because I'm, painfully boring like that. No, I'm just teasing.
Someone's got to do it.
I know. I went to a couple on Wednesday. I unfortunately did not get to any classes while I was there because I was working a booth. And working at the Media Hub doing interviews and stuff. So, the classes were secondary, which is not what a lot of people want to hear, because shame on me. I should be continuing my education.
Well,
right?
You and I got to hang out for a little bit, but you were always on the run. You're running and running. Yeah, it was a lot of work you were doing.
Yeah, it was. But the panels I got to go to were very interesting. I went to one on Wednesday, which was a DNA panel, and it had on it Diane Southard, Judy Russell, and Dr. Oh God, Scott. I'm gonna look it up on my iPad now, because now I feel like a moron. I didn't write this down beforehand. Gosh, he used to be with Ancestry, and those of you who know who I'm talking about are going to go, I can't believe you forgot it.
There's quite a lot of people yelling at their computer monitors right now.
Oh, I'm sure there is. There we go. Scott Fisher. No, Scott Fisher was the moderator. Scott Woodward was the Dr. Scott Woodward was the other panelist. Scott Fisher is from the radio show.
Not Bobby Fisher.
No.
Oh, the genealogy guys or something like that.
No. Oh my gosh. I didn't write it down. I'm blaming this totally on cough medicine, because I just am not with it today. He has a genealogy radio show, and it's really, really good. Extreme Genes. I listen to this show. How can I not remember what it is? But anyway, their DNA panel. I know it's just one of those days, but we had to do it, right, Eric?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was an excellent panel, and as most people know, I have this thing for genetics and DNA, and I liked to hear what everyone's opinions were, and where they saw the field was going. And it was actually a pretty packed room, which was fantastic. Unfortunately, with the panels at RootsTech, they don't take questions from the audience. They're all set questions. That way the flow just keeps going. And this one was 30 minutes long. And then towards the end of the week, I attended a genealogy ethics panel, which was an hour long. And it was hosted by Jill Ball, who is Geneos, if you read her blog. And the panelists were Christine Woodcock, who is from Canada, Roger Moffat, who's formerly of New Zealand, now of Michigan, and Kirsty Gray, who is in the UK. Now, my only comment on that panel was they definitely needed an American representative because they were at an American conference, and they got a lot of American copyright and plagiarism and ethics questions that they couldn't answer because it was an international panel.
Oh, wow.
So it was fun and interesting to hear people's perspectives from across the pond, and even just across the border. But I sat in the front row with my with my phone and would Google answers. And Christina would look at me and I would tell her what the answer was. I'm like, according to the great God Google, it's when we got into the US copyright. But it was a really good one because, once again, it's one of those discussions I don't think that there can ever be enough of, because it seems that people have this confusion on what stealing and copyright and plagiarism and all of those ethics things are.
There's confusion on what plagiarism is?
Yeah, actually, yes.
I guess like the very narrow line between...
that little gray line. And of course, I was talking to Judy Russell about it later, and it's like, if you have a question, just don't do it. I'm like, it's the best piece of advice ever.
Yeah. If you're concerned, hey, is this plagiarism? It probably is.
Probably is, yeah. Yeah. So it was a very interesting panel to attend. And I heard you went to some classes too.
I did. I went to several classes. I went to about 4 of them, and I really enjoyed the one that Thomas Jones put together about missing or scarce resources or records. He had a couple case studies that he put together that he drew from the NGS Quarterly.
Right.
And I'm going to have to read that more often than I do, because it is incredible.
The NGS Quarterly? The Quarterly?
Yeah.
You've never read it?
No, I've read it, but I just hadn't read it. Like, I've got a backlog I need to read.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, I read it. I've got it right here.
Well, some people get bogged down with it because the Quarterly is very, very academic. Yeah, I see. The Quarterly is very academic, and so for some,
dense.
Yeah, and so for some people, it's difficult to get through. That's why I was asking.
No, and I'm actually learning a lot from reading them. But Thomas Jones's presentation went over how to find answers to genealogy problems using really resources that aren't uncommon or scarce. And one of the most interesting ones was a gentleman was searching for his slave ancestors, and he ended up doing some grouping of families and was eventually able to label each and every slave by name on a 1950 slave census or something like that. And each one of those tick marks that was a person, he was able to label those tick marks as to who that person was.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It was just mind-boggling. It was like, good for him. It kind of made me want to go out and do that, But it was good class. I also went to one. It was a beginner's course, or a beginner's class by Laura Hedgecock about professionalizing your blog or website, and that was really good. It was very basic, of course, but there was some things that I learned about older audiences, how they look through websites versus some younger audiences, and how to identify who your audience is and cater to them the best.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And your blog is doing perfect, according to Laura Hedgecock.
Oh, was my blog just as an example?
No.
Oh.
I went through it.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
No.
I was like, what? Yay, me. Pat myself on the back. But yeah, RootsTech is definitely an experience. And I don't know about you, you probably will agree with me, but I think it's an experience that I think people, if you can get to it and you can do it at least once, should go just for the experience.
I would agree with
nothing like any of the other conferences.
No, this is massive. This is a big conference. This is almost like the Genealogy Super Bowl.
I like that.
Well, there was like tailgating outside. You know, the police were called in to clear people that were just milling about the middle of the street. It was incredibly crazy. Yeah. No, but it was actually neat to see a lot of the vendors who wanted to hear feedback from the people the users of their product. What worked, what didn't work, and I was able to have a conversation with several of them and talk with them, and they really were open to hearing what we had to say. And then the networking there, where we were able to have the opportunity to meet new people, make new friends, make new connections, is invaluable with growing our resource base as a genealogist and our knowledge base as well. Right. I definitely agree with you. You should at least go at least once.
Right. And I especially think it's important for younger genealogists, the networking aspect of it, to meet people, make connections, share those business cards, learn new things, learn from new people, because they might have a way of thinking of something that you haven't thought about it, and it makes more sense the way they do it, and you can pick it up. But the other thing I want to tell people is always make sure to pack extra room in your schedule, or put extra room in your schedule either before or after, so that you can make sure to get the family history library.
Yeah.
I never do enough.
Well, we went there on Wednesday, and they're in the middle of remodeling the first floor. But the second floor was packed full of people, and it was just stuff. It was like really hot, but it was amazing how much stuff they have in there, and just all is just packed full. But another tip would be bring business cards. If you don't have them, make them, because that's actually really important nowadays inside genealogy circles. Is exchanging contact information.
It is.
And I got a ton of business cards from.
Yeah, you can either print them off yourself or get, think ahead of time, and you can get like from Vistaprint, cheap. Like 500 business cards, cheap.
Yeah.
All printed out with pretty pictures and stuff on it. And not only is it nice, that way you can carry them around to hand out as you network with people, but you can also then drop them in if you want to the different door prizes. Or carry mailing labels. Door prizes are important.
Did you win anything while you were there?
Did I even have a chance to look around the Expo Hall?
I don't even think you walked around the Expo Hall.
I didn't. Not this year. Last year I did.
I heard it was twice as big this year as it was last year.
I had this path that was ground into the carpet from the booth I was working to the media hub. Back and forth. That was it.
Yeah. Well, any other tips that
the other tip I want to give people is try to book rooms early and get roommates if you can.
Roommates.
Yeah, and Salt Lake City is pretty small, so you can walk around it fairly easily. But if you get on the blue line tracks around downtown, it's free. And we stayed kind of out in the boonies, according to Salt Lake City. It was only 4 stops from the Salt Palace, or 6 blocks, so it wasn't really that far.
Yeah.
But there were people who were riding it in from hotels further out from where I was staying, who were from like out by the airport and places like that, and they were riding the tracks in. And it's also only $2.50, so it's much cheaper than a taxi. So make sure
what's only $2.50?
If you have to pay for the tracks.
Oh, okay, got it.
It's $2.50.
That's not bad. Yeah, we were in a hotel maybe about 6 blocks away, and we walked a couple of mornings. It was nice to just walk out in the mornings. It was a little bit cold, but you bundle up, and it was pleasant. I really enjoyed walking around.
Yeah, it was. Salt Lake City is a pretty easy town to get around in. It's very well laid out, and like I said, downtown the track system is free. So that always helps people, especially if you find yourself, at the Salt Palace with lots of books from the conference. Not that anybody would do that. Oh, and the other thing is, a lot of people didn't know this, but I'm going to point this out to everyone now. In the future, if you, for some reason buy a lot of stuff and you don't want to take it on the airplane with you, or that's kind of holding you back, they now have a shipping center at the conference.
In the conference.
In the conference hall. And it's open through Sunday.
What?
Yep. And it was open Saturday. We had to break down. Saturday was the last day of the conference, and we had to break it down. And they actually stayed open late after the conference was officially over, because they were helping all of the people with booths ship stuff home. But, if you're there and you've bought some books, or you have some materials, or you have, stuff that you can't get on the airplane with you, in the future, if you attend RootsTech, there you go. There's a business center right there that you can ship FedEx, UPS, everything.
Yeah, we used to do that with other conferences in our previous life. Just pack all of our propaganda stuff into a flat rate shipping box and mail it out instead of having to carry it. So that's a great idea. It's a very, very good idea.
Yep.
And it was much easier than lugging it all onto an airplane and shoving it into the overhead or something like that.
Yes.
Well, yeah. So I love this conference. Overall, it was my first conference. Your second one, my first one, and I would definitely going to show up next year. And a lot of fun.
If I can be there, I will be there again. I always have a great time. I always learn a lot, even if I don't actually get to the classes. Someday in the future, for 2 years now, I've put proposals in to speak, and so next year I just know I'll be picked up. Just know it.
Cross your fingers, knock on wood.
That's right. Another reason for me to go to Salt Lake City for a week in the middle of February. But I think that's about it. Do you have anything else you want to make sure that we covered about the conference? Everybody should go, obviously.
Yeah, I think that we could have had a really short video and say, you know what, you should go next year.
Yeah, just don't listen to us.
Yeah.
I will put out there that if anyone out there wants to read some more about what happened and the blogs and everything, Randy Seaver has a blog roll going where he's putting together all the ambassador posts on his blog. Everyone knows who Randy Seaver is. I shouldn't have to put out there his. Oh, you're typing for me. Thank you.
Very welcome. Yeah, you can keep talking and I'll keep typing.
Oh, that's fine. He's, like I said, he's collected together all of the blog posts that have RootsTech or are about RootsTech or are made from RootsTech, about RootsTech. And there were, oh gosh, over 50 ambassadors there. Is this his blog you just have put up?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I'll click on it. So there you go. The compendium updated. Yeah, there you go. All the different things you can read about.
It is a lot.
There are a lot. So make sure you read what the title is before you go out and there and read it. And the thing is, a lot of those aren't just genealogy blogs, because the ambassadors aren't just genealogy bloggers. There were also mommy bloggers or lifestyle bloggers there. There were Mormon-specific bloggers there, which obviously does have a lot of genealogy to do with it. There were, I think, 3 or maybe 4 different categories of bloggers that were ambassadors. So there was quite a variety there.
Sounds like it.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay. All right.
Anything else? You
awesome.
Good?
I'm good. So we'll see everybody next month. No, we have no idea what we're talking about. You'll just have to be surprised.
I think that we didn't have anything. We didn't even know what we were talking about today. That's what everybody can tell.
Yeah, that's right. We just kind of go with it. All right, Eric. I hope you have a great day, and we will see you in March.
Perfect.
Great. And you all have a great day too. Let us know your comments on the Next Gen Facebook page about RootsTech. If you have any advice or tips or things that you saw if you were there, or heck, if you want to post your blog link because you wrote about it, we'd love to hear it. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.